everybody, my name's Aine McDaid and I'm joining you today from a wee spare bedroom at my mummy's house in Derry. And I have been asked to come today to do some meditation with you. Now, for anybody that's completely new to meditation, this is a great place to start. And we're not going to be diving straight in today. I thought it's important to kind of share a little bit about how I've come to be where I'm at the minute, and also talk to you about sort of what meditation is and what it isn't, because there's lots of like really interesting myths out there about meditation. So I started my meditation journey years ago. I lived in London. I lived in London for 18 years and I brought my son up over there. I was a single mommy. Bringing up my son, I worked as a secondary school teacher. I was head of music in a big secondary school, and it was fabulous in many ways, but also very challenging and quite lonely, and I had quite a struggle a lot of the time. And so I was on this kind of treadmill of stress, just very, very stressed, and I suffered a lot from very bad panic attacks when I got really stressed. I had no awareness of breath whatsoever. And it came to a head a few years ago, and I was walking past, it was a Buddhist centre in London, and it had started to rain. I was meeting some friends for lunch, and I actually went in to shelter from the rain because there was no other shops about. And as I went in, this man said, oh, you're here for the meditation, and started to sort of usher me down some stairs. And I was trying to say no, I wasn't, but I kind of found myself going along with it. And I thought, this is really awkward. So I went into this room, and there's such a stillness and calmness in there, but I thought, well, I'll stay for a minute, and once they start whatever they're doing, I'll sneak out. Well, an hour later, I floated out of the meditation. I had never experienced anything like it before, and that was my first experience. And that kind of hooked me in. I thought, I don't know what went on, but I liked the feeling, and I need more of this in my life. So that was the beginnings. But I've gone on to explore many, many different types of meditation. So when we say, you'll hear people say, oh, I do meditation, it's a little bit like saying, I do music. You know, music is kind of an umbrella term for lots of different styles of music. There's lots of different instruments and combinations, and something's going to resonate and something isn't, what you might not like. And that's the same with meditation. It's like an umbrella term. There are lots of different types of meditation. And there might be one that you find really resonates, and another type that you go, no, that did nothing for me. So you kind of have to, I would say, like, just be open to trying out different things. And if something feels good, come back to it. Because that's what we want. When we want to feel good, come back to it. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to give you sort of different flavors of meditation. And then it might be, you might think, oh yeah, that took me into a lovely place of relaxation, and there might be something else and you think, no, and then you can just leave it, let it go. So what is this thing called meditation that we speak of, and why do we do it? Well, science now is great because it's getting behind meditation, and there are so many scientific sort of studies done. But ultimately, we meditate to know ourselves. That's a key thing. We befriend ourselves, and we befriend the breath. And the breath is such a powerful, powerful tool. And I'll come back to that in a minute. But when we meditate, and it's a regular practice, so you wouldn't come to me for a piano lesson and leave after the first session being able to play the piano. Okay? It's the same with meditation. You don't sit down and do your first ever meditation and then everything just falls into place. It doesn't quite work like that. And anything that takes time, I think, is worth doing, you know. But meditation is a great way to relieve stress and anxiety. Our work with the breath, so much breath work goes on, it slows down your heart rate and sends a message, sends a little signal to the brain to calm down and relax. It lowers your blood pressure, okay, boosts your immune system, improves your empathy, your connection with self, connection with other people. It slows down aging, always a good thing. It improves our lung capacity, because again, that comes back to the breath. So there are so many benefits to meditating. But you know, I could talk about them, and there are books. I am surrounded here by books. We can talk about them, but actually the best thing to do is to experience the feeling for yourself. I think that's a key thing. You just experience sitting and breathing. It's magical without being magical. And I feel so passionate about this practice because I have felt the benefits in my own life, and I have seen the shifts in my life since I have brought meditation into my life, and I've seen the connections and the improved relationships. I'm not so reactive anymore, and I do things more mindfully. So to meditate, the essence of meditation is awareness. Okay, that's all it is. It is awareness. And when we do things with awareness, when we do things mindfully, we're not caught up anymore in our heads, in our thoughts. So we have up to 60 or 70,000 thoughts every day. And most of us go through life unaware really of what's going on in our heads. And it is the cause of so much suffering and anxiety. Because if you're not aware of what's going on, then you're just kind of running an autopilot, and your thoughts are controlling you. Now, people often think that to meditate is to completely stop your thoughts, but that's impossible. Our thoughts will stop when we die, okay? We don't want to stop our thoughts. We want to stop our thoughts from controlling us and to take control of our thoughts, and that's what we do in meditation. So imagine our minds are like a cup of muddy water, all right? And if you were to take a spoon and put it in that cup and stir it, the mud would just churn up and churn up and churn up. So that's what's happened to us a lot of the time. So the mud is the thoughts, and then what we do is we start to get caught up in the thoughts, and we attach a thought to another thought, and we're stirring it up, and that looping round, and that thought leads to that thought, leads to that thought, and before you know it, you're down the rabbit hole of thought. Whereas in meditation, we learn to become the observer of our thoughts, and it's a really liberating thought to have when you realize that you are not your thoughts, and that every thought you have isn't necessarily true, okay? And that's just, even that alone is just so freeing, okay? So what we do in meditation is we sit back and we become the observer, and we start to see what's going on. And then we can go, okay, so I'm going to acknowledge that thought, because we don't want to try and get rid of it, because if you try and get rid of something, it pops its head back up tenfold. So we allow the thought and we see it, and then we let it go. And then we see another thought comes up, and we acknowledge it, and then we let it go. And then another thought might come up, and you might go, well, that's quite a useful thought. I'll come back to that later, but for now I'm going to let it go. And what you find is that through practice, the space between the thoughts gets bigger. And that's when you'll really experience that sense of calm and peace and stillness that we often don't experience in a very, very busy world. There's a lovely quote by a French philosopher called Michel de Montaigne, and he says, "My life has been filled with terrible misfortunes, most of which have never happened." Does that resonate with anybody? I don't know about you, but historically, it was less about the past that I used to loop around, but more about imagining the future. And I'd think, so I'm meeting someone on Saturday, I'm going to be late. How will I not be late? And I'd loop that round and round. And then when I meet them, and this is what I'm going to say, and then they're going to say this, and then I'm going to say this. And yeah, before you know it, you have a whole script. And then what happens is when it comes to that day, well, you've no control over it. And everything, all of that was just nonsense, waste of time, draining, stressful thought process. And then it doesn't go the way you thought it was going to go, even if it goes better, because it hasn't gone the way you've planned it all out. That can cause so much stress and anxiety. So through meditation, we learn to just bring ourselves into the present moment. And the tool that we use to do that is our breath, that keeps us anchored to the present. So we learn to, do you know, so many of us don't breathe properly. So we learn to breathe properly. Now, over the next few weeks, I'm going to introduce you to different breathing techniques. And I would invite you, the next time you feel stressed or anxious or you can't sleep, try some of these breathing techniques. And don't take my word for it, experience it for yourself. The shift in your life will be huge. These breathing techniques really do work and really help with anxiety and stress. And I honestly am talking from a place of experience. It all sounds very simple, and it is very simple, but it's not easy. It takes practice. So what I'm going to do today is, sorry, I spoke for a wee bit longer than I normally would, but I just wanted to explain a wee bit about what meditation is and isn't, and what we're going to be doing. So today's meditation, I'm going to keep it quite short, just for your first experience. So we're going to do a little bit of breath work, and then we're going to go on a little guided meditation. So allow your imagination to be open and receptive today. And if you're a visual person, just allow yourself to really see and experience where I'm taking you today. And if you're not so visual, so I wouldn't be, but I sense things. I get a real sense of things in my body. I experience things sort of through colour or smell or sound or sensation. So just get a sense and see what comes up for you today, because in stillness and silence, there are so many answers, and they're all within. People look for answers out in the world, out here. All of the answers that we need are all in here. So, to start with, I'm going to ask you to sit up nice and straight. Posture is so important. If you're lying down, there just is it's very easy to fall asleep. Now, if you really need to have a sleep, that's fine. No judgment here. But we want to create a space where we feel very relaxed, but mentally alert. Okay, so you want to be mentally in the room, but the body and mind are relaxed. Now, I'm sat on the floor with my legs crossed, but because I spend a lot of time like this, my legs are used to it. It was very uncomfortable at the beginning. And for longer meditations, I would still sit on a chair. You do not become enlightened by sitting on the floor. Another myth, okay? You don't need to be sat cross-legged. You can sit on a chair, but just have your feet firmly planted on the floor, because again, that's rooting you through the earth. And have your spine nice and straight, so you're not kind of lying back under a chair. You're sitting up nice and straight. I always have a wee blanket around me. So if you want to pause this for a minute and run and get yourself a wee blanket, or even put something around your shoulders, because you're going to be sat still now for the next 20 minutes or so. Now, feet flat on the floor, spine nice and long. With your hands, you can just place your hands on your thighs or your knees, or you can take something called a mudra. Now, a mudra just means seal. So we seal in the energy. So thumb and first finger touching, hands relaxed, either palms up or palms down, whatever feels right for you. But just relaxing your hands down is fine as well. You'll know what feels right for you. Now, just before we start, I'm going to say that, and keep this in mind in the next few weeks, as we move through the breathing exercises, each of us has a different kind of capacity for what we can hold. Never strain or try too hard. Listen to your body. So if I'm asking you to breathe in and hold the breath, if it's too much, just you go along with your own body. Don't hold it for so long. Or if I'm asking you to make the out breath longer, if my count is too long, you find your own. Okay, so I try and sort of do something that hopefully will suit everybody, but listen to your own body. All right, so important. Because you're here to look after yourself. This is all self-love and self-care. So sitting up nice and straight, either taking your mudra or relaxing your hands. And I'm just going to ring on my little singing bowl, which means the practice has started. And so we begin our practice today by giving ourselves permission to relax. This is your time. There's nowhere to go and nothing to do. Nowhere to be, no emails to answer. This is your time to just be. We are human beings, not human doings. And yet we spend so much time caught up in a very busy world. So I invite you now for the next little while to relax and breathe. Scan your body for any areas of tension. We hold a lot of tension in our jaw. So bring your awareness to your jaw and very gently just allow your jaw to relax. Release your tongue. Perhaps let your lips part ever so slightly. And bring your awareness to your neck and shoulders. Another area where we really hold so much tension. So just taking a deep breath now. As you exhale, roll your shoulders and allow them to fall down the back. Just releasing and relaxing all of the muscles in your back. How does that feel? And bring your awareness very gently to your belly. Just see now if you can soften your belly. Really let go. And see if you can invite your breath right down into your belly. soften, release and expand. When was the last time you took a long, slow, conscious breath? Just notice how this feels. Bringing your awareness now to your breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. Allowing the breath to stay so soft and gentle. I like to imagine a little feather just sitting on the top lip. And as you breathe gently in and out through the nose, you don't want to disturb that little feather. Breathing in light and love. Breathing out any stress or tension that you're holding on to. Breathing in calm. Breathing out chaos. Breathing in relaxation. Breathing out anything that doesn't serve you right now. Just to take us into a deeper state of relaxation, we're going to breathe in, hold the breath, and then breathe out, making the exhalation longer than the inhalation. And remember that if my count doesn't suit you, just make sure that the out breath is longer than the in breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. Begin by taking one deep breath in and out. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take a big deep breath in through your nose, right down into the core of your being. Exhale slowly and fully and completely. And return now to your own natural rhythm of breath. How do you feel? I invite you now to come on an inner journey. So allow your imagination to be really open. Take a magical journey to your inner world And this is where all kinds of special things are happening. So imagine now that you're walking in a really beautiful space outdoors, somewhere in nature where you feel really like yourself. This is a place where you feel completely safe, somewhere where you feel most like yourself. And this might be a place that you visit often, or maybe a place that you've visited in the past, or this could be a place that exists only in your imagination. So just take yourself there now. Just begin to slowly walk around, really exploring the space. Do you hear any sounds? Taking a deep breath. What can you smell? Looking all around you, what can you see? Is there anything that you can reach out and touch? As you're walking around and exploring this very beautiful, precious place, you look up ahead and see that there's a woman. And she's wearing a long gown or a long dress. And she's standing very, very still. And you notice that her back is to you. And you're feeling a little bit curious today. And you're feeling very safe. So you very slowly start to walk towards her. What colour is the garment that she is wearing? What colour is her hair? Can you see anything else that she's wearing? Moving even closer now, you notice that she's standing with her arms lifted up, and there are beautiful butterflies fluttering all around her. Some of them are in her hair, some of them are on her dress. In fact, the air surrounding her is completely covered with a rainbow of butterflies. And now she's greeting you by name, but she's still facing away from you. So just listen to her now, say your name, and really feel her call of welcome in every single cell in your body. When you ask her why she doesn't turn around, she tells you that she's facing forward because she wants to remind you that it's time to stop looking back. Stop looking back at how things were, at how things used to be. It's time to stand tall in the light and look ahead. Look ahead to how things are going to be. She tells you that she's called Butterfly Woman and that she is an agent of change for you. She invites you to walk closer, to stand right beside her amidst the quiet hush of butterfly wings. And so taking a deep breath now, right down into the core of your being, feeling a real sense of hope. Go ahead and continue your conversation with Butterfly Woman. And you can ask her anything you want. You can ask her about anything that you might be leaving behind, or about what you might be moving towards. Just simply listen or watch her response. She doesn't always respond in words, but in colour or thought or feeling or movement. So taking a moment now, listen from your heart. It's almost time to come back from this inner journey. So just taking another moment with Butterfly Woman. Find a way to thank her, to say goodbye, knowing in your heart that she is always here for you, ready to guide you through any transition that you need to make. She'll be with you through any change that you might choose to make. So just taking that moment now. And taking a deep breath right down into the core of your being. As you exhale, bring your awareness very gently once again to your own breath. As you allow the image of this beautiful place that you've created to gently fade. And we move into a very important part of our practice, where we check in with how we feel. So bringing your awareness to your physical body, scanning your body once again, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. How does your physical body feel? And do this with no judgment, just very gently labeling any sensations in your physical body. Any tightness, pain, numbness, relaxation. How's your body feeling today? Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, bring your awareness now to your mind. How's your mind feeling today? Has it been very busy during that practice? Or have you felt the space between the thoughts? Remember that there's no right or wrong. The essence of meditation is awareness. So as long as you are aware, you are meditating. And acknowledge any thoughts that came up for you today with no judgment. How's your mind feeling? And finally, bring your awareness to your heart. And this is your spiritual heart, right in the center of your chest. How's your wee heart feeling today after it's been listened to? What messages came up for you? Any feelings or emotions? Or maybe you felt nothing at all. All of this is okay. Just be aware. How does your heart feel? Take a long, slow, deep breath. And as you exhale, bring your hands now to heart center. Or place your hands over your heart, whatever feels right for you. And just now feel deep, deep love and care and compassion for yourself. For showing up for yourself today. For giving yourself the time and the space to sit and get to know yourself. It's a really brave thing to do. And especially for anybody who's trying this for the first time. And I thank you so much for allowing me to hold this very precious space. Namaste. And that little word, namaste, just simply means that the light within me honors the light within you. So it's just a lovely little exchange that we can start and end the practice with. Well, I really hope that you enjoyed that. It was quite a short experience of meditation, and I invite you to practice that little breath over the coming days, and honestly 2 or 3 rounds of that breath, just breathing in, holding, and breathing out, making the exhalation longer. The little bit of practice, it can work wonders. So I'm going to leave that with you. Sending big hugs.